Good morning, everyone, or whatever time of day you're watching this. I just wanted to record a little session explaining an art activity we did in the cafe a couple of weeks ago. We did record it on Zoom, and you will find that on the YouTube channel as well. But this is just a bit more of a condensed version because there was a lot of chat around people doing their own activity, but it's really interesting to watch. But I just wanted to recap and give a kind of smaller explanation of what we were doing. So this project involved drawing around your hands, and we were looking at kind of the situation that we've had, the lockdown, and how that's affected us, things we've noticed in ourselves, things that we might be holding on to that we want to let go of, and things that we've really enjoyed and want to keep. So now I suppose is a time where we're easing out of lockdown, and it's a really good time of reflection of how this period has been, and how it's affected you, and those kind of positive things that you want to keep out of it, and the negative things you may need to let go of, not just around lockdown, but I think with a lot of time to ourselves, time with other people, we've really probably noticed a lot of our personality traits, a lot of the way we react to things. It's quite interesting, if you spend a lot of time on your own, then, you're in your own head, so you might be questioning a lot. But then also if you're living with people in close proximity and not really being able to get away from them, we see our own behaviours reflected in them, and you can see how you're behaving and reacting to people. So, it's a great time of reflection. So I just wanted to show you something I showed everybody at the beginning of the activity. So what we're going to do is draw around our hands, so the left hand and the right hand, and we're going to use that as a comparison to the different emotions. So one is to let go of and one is to hold on to. These are really nice things I found off the internet. So as you can see, this one is like quite creative. It has lots of illustrative elements to it, reflecting what they were thinking. This one too here, there's words used, and again imagery and colour. That might be daunting to some people who aren't particularly creative or don't think they're creative. So this one is a great example of what you can do. You can just use words and then just bits of colour to kind of represent. I love the way the background of this is quite sunny, and then this one's darker. So how you feel you want to kind of reflect your ideas. You can just use the words, one in each finger, so it gives you kind of a frame of how many you're going to use, or you can get creative and decorative. So basically we just started with a piece of paper where we put our hands on and drew around each hand. You'll notice that my right hand here has considerably wobblier fingers because I was drawing with my left hand, but it doesn't matter. So there's a representation of the hands and which one you're going to use. So I'll just show you. I started by showing one that I had done in advance. So I did my hold onto word, and I used a bit of kind of drawing to represent things. So one of the biggest things I've really enjoyed is lots of time outside. Was something that I did a lot beforehand anyway, but we have been blessed with a lot of really good weather during this time, and without that kind of pressure of having to go to work at a certain time or take your kids to school or playgroups or wherever you were going. It is just that ease in the mornings of being able to go for long walks. That's what I've noticed in my own kind of life. I've done a lot of big morning walks where normally we'd probably be rushing around to do things. So what else? The family time, which kind of links in with that. I've got Namaskar Mudra here, palms together, with daily yoga practice that I've managed to pick back up. This represents spending time with people. Maybe before this, I was kind of spending time with people that weren't necessarily bringing me much joy. You kind of get stuck sometimes in relationships, or maybe groups you're going to that can feel a bit empty. So it's kind of made me hone into who I actually want to spend time with when we come out of this and be quite proactive in that. So that represents that. This one is, I can't see it, contentment in what we have close to home. Obviously, we haven't been able to venture far, and still now in Wales, we're still 5 miles radius. I am guilty of thinking that I would want to live abroad, don't have the weather I want here. But actually this has been a very beautiful place to be in lockdown, and I've really appreciated it. And the beach here is lovely, the fields here are lovely, the open space is lovely, and my appreciation has come fourfold in that. So that's really something I want to keep onto. And living in the moment also relates to that, kind of not always thinking, oh well, when this happens things will be better. Just be very present in where you are. So that's something I'm choosing to hold on to. Gardening. I haven't got the greatest outdoor space in my house. We've used this time to make it better. And I've spent lots of time outdoors and actually realised it doesn't matter what you've got. You can really create a nice space to be in, no matter how small it is. And I've got a newfound appreciation for my outside space. And that's something I want to continue. I didn't grow any vegetables this year, a bit of herbs and strawberries. But I'd like to go further into that. And this one is believing in myself and knowing in myself. I've had my boundaries pushed during this time, having to come online, do videos, all that kind of stuff. So again, spending time with yourself as well helps you to reflect in who you are without that kind of interruption of other people around you. So that hand in hand with pushing my own boundaries is something that's been really good for me, so I'm holding on to. So during the activity, I filled in what I want to let go of. And so I'll just show you there, just giving you some ideas. Again, I did a bit of drawing to do with this. So screen time, I've got TV and mobile phones, social media. I've been very aware because I've had to work from home, and so has my partner, about a kind of screen time around our daughter. So I've been really stepping back from my personal screen time, and that's been really good for me and something I want to let go of. Hold on to letting go of the personal screen time, but yeah, let go of that. Self-doubt, again, relates to pushing my boundaries and actually believing in myself. So let's let go of self-doubt, which I suffer from terribly. Constraints of time, obviously when life starts moving again, I will be constrained by time a lot more, but it's really important to not let that overwhelm you and actually realise you do have time for nicer things and to be a bit freer. People pleasing. I'm terrible for people pleasing, a bit like what I was saying about relationships. Maybe I spend time with people out of guilt. So I'm going to really try and do what's good for me. Not in a selfish way, but, taking that pressure off that other people put on you. And excess spending. I used to probably get a takeaway coffee every day. I'm not saying I haven't picked that up again here and there since lockdown has eased a little bit, but I'm not doing it every day. I don't need that. I'm not one for spending on clothes anyway, but things like that have really come to the forefront of how simple life can be, and that's something I want to hold on to. So there's my hands, and that's how I did it. And like I said, you don't have to kind of draw, you can just write your kind of ideas, and it's really nice to keep to like the palm and one finger for each thing to kind of give you that kind of guideline as to how many things to use and think of. And you can just use patterns if you want, you don't have to draw things, and colour. So that was mine, and I'm just going to show you a few that came out of the workshop as well. This is a lovely one, and again, this one is maybe more simple in the kind of drawing, but the kind of representation of colour and the watercolours are really lovely. I really like what was done there. And then another one, this one is great. Lots of drawing on in here, really imaginative, you really get a feel of what this person's going through. I love the eye here behind the negative thoughts and the letting go of, and you can really see the kind of positivity and the negativity here that she's feeling, and that's beautiful. So I just wanted to kind of go through that in a bit more of a concise way, give you some ideas. I think it's a really nice activity to kind of hone in on what you've been experiencing and how you want to move forward for that. So I hope you find it helpful. If you do have a go at it, we'd really love to see your results. So you could go onto our Facebook group, the Wellbeing Cafe, the Rebuild Wellbeing Cafe, it's under on Facebook, and show us your results. That would be great. Okay, take care and happy creating.